The iMac 2020. Let's get to the core of it. Get it? Core? Apple? Never mind. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So Apple has just released the 27-inch iMac. Now I know the 21.5-inch iMac fans are disappointed. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to wait your turn. So as predicted, Apple still had more of Intel to give to their consumers in the form of this computer right here. Let's go over what this product is, what has been updated, and the big question, should you buy it? Now the reason I said refreshed iMac early on is because it is still has not changed cosmetically on the exterior. You still got the thick bezels. I mean, come on Apple, how many hints do we have to give it to you? I mean, we know you hear us. You compromised just slightly with the MacBook 16-inch. Why can you not do it here for this desktop? Are they saving the complete redesign for when they release their own CPU chips, their own ARM-based CPU chips? Yes they are. As we already know, the complete redesign of the iMac is already in process, and I honestly believe they're going to release it when they're with their own ARM chipsets. Now, only time will tell. Well, not time. Apple time, however, will tell. We never know when they're going to release these things. Anywho, when we look at the previous generations of the iMac, we can see there's nothing to raise your eyebrow at. You know, they are sure they're updating the chipsets just to keep up with times. You know, they put in more modern CPUs and more modern GPUs, you know, just to keep up with the current generation that is right now. Although constantly using hard drives and fusion drives does not do them any justice. Now, you may be thinking, why are they not redesigning why are they not refreshing the 21.5-inch iMac? And I believe, now do not quote me on this, I believe that the 27-inch iMac is going to be redesigned much later on. That the 21.5-inch is going to be updated, it's going to be refreshed, it's going to be upgraded, it's going to be completely overhauled, balls to the walls design much earlier. It's going to accompany that new silicon chip. It's going to be Apple Silicon everything. And what you see here is proof of that. Maybe. You really don't know with Apple. They do this, they do that, they never really go in a straight line. But I believe within the coming months, we're going to see a 23, maybe a 24-inch iMac, completely redesigned, maybe with Face ID, you never know. That would be lovely, wouldn't it be? But I believe within the coming months, we are going to be seeing a 23 to maybe a 24-inch iMac with much thinner bezels and a completely redesigned chassis to accompany those new internals, that new CPU, new graphics, new cooling. It's going to replace the smaller iMac. Now that that has been sorted, let's take a dive into this new iMac that they have just released. Now looking at this page, you will not see that many differences in the 21.5-inch iMac range. Still the 7th generation Intel Core i5 and the 8th generation Intel Core i3 and i5 in these models. They have not updated to the latest 10th generation. But, and yes, I did say but, if you look very carefully at the specs, you can see that there is no sight of a hard drive or fusion drive mentioned anywhere. Yes, that's right folks, they've completely replaced it with an SSD. You know what that means? You can completely say goodbye to those slow read and write days of yesterday. Now, all now come with the standard 256 gigabyte SSD storage. That's standard across the board. Now, heading over to the 27-inch iMacs, there you'll start to see the updates. And you'll immediately notice that they all come with the latest 10th generation Intel Core chipsets. Now, the second tier and the base models come with the Intel Core i5, with the higher tier coming with the Intel Core i7. And the option to add a 10th gen Core i9 is still available in the customized option. Now, if you're sitting there and looking at the specs between the base model and the second tier model, and you're wondering what justifies this $200 price increase, I mean, I'm looking at it and I can barely see it. But you have to look very carefully, and honestly, I don't think it's worth it. But for $200, you get a 0.2 gigahertz increase of that 6-core Intel Core i5. And you get 512 gigabytes SSD storage instead of the standard 256. Nothing else is different. The ports and the display, exactly the same. To see the real upgrades is when you look at the second tier and the higher tier models. You notice with the CPU that you go from a 3.3 gigahertz 6-core i5 processor to a 3.8 gigahertz 8-core i7 processor. And that's not just it. That's not it. That's not it alone. You also go from a Radeon Pro 5300 4GB GDDR6 graphics card to a Radeon Pro 5500 XT 8GB GDDR6 graphics card. Now, if you try and be clever, you're thinking, if I go for the base model, I can upgrade the storage myself. Well, Apple has thought 1, 2, maybe 3 steps ahead of you, because in the customization options menu, there is no mention of you cannot customize the amount of storage that is in it. It's quite a fickle, isn't it? So as always with Apple products, if you want something, you're gonna have to dish out for it. You're gonna have to dish out hard. You have to spend that money. Now, looking at what else is upgradable, the memory, you are paying absurd prices. Honestly, if this is an upgrade, if this has upgradable RAM like the previous models, let's actually quickly check if they do. Just go in the little gallery here. We're going to take a look at the back. And can we zoom in here? No, come here, you. Let's see. Yep, right there is the button to release the hatch. So, my advice is do not give a cent of your hard-earned cash for that RAM. Upgrade it yourself for much cheaper. You can spend maybe $200 and upgrade it to a 32 gig. Just make sure you buy the correct RAM. I mean, honestly, you spend $200, you can probably upgrade it to the 32 gig. Look how much they're charging for a 32 gig. It's $600. Save your own money, upgrade it yourself. It will not void the warranty. Now, concerning the GPU, as I've already said, in the higher tier iMacs, going from 4GB Radeon Pro 5300 to an 8GB Radeon Pro 5500 XT, you also have other options to upgrade. So let's have a look. Yes, right there. For $500, you have the option to upgrade to a 16GB Radeon Pro 5700 XT version for significantly greater GPU performance. Now, before I end off, there is something I also noticed, and I honestly was shocked. I thought I was hallucinating. So, if you were to go onto the main page of the new iMac, right, and you were to scroll down all the way to the bottom, you are going to notice something. Look at this. The 27-inch iMac now comes with a standard 1080p camera. It's unbelievable. Says goodbye to the 720p that had no right, absolutely no right to be in a high-end machine. Apple, you hearing me? You had no right to put a 720p in such a high-end machine. 1080p is the way it should go. Say sayonara to those grainy FaceTime videos. So we can clearly see that Apple's trying to make the transition from Intel-based CPUs to ARM silicon CPUs as seamless as possible, right? With the with their silicon CPUs going to be on the lower end, they're going to be the cheapest of the line. So they're not necessarily meant for the power-hungry users, who are going to use resource-intensive tasks. But then again, the A12X found in the iPad Pro, that thing is a powerful little beast. You're able to do video editing and everything like that. So I do not know what I'm talking about in that aspect. Maybe that thing is just going to blow Intel out the water. You never know. Just going to have to wait and see. Like I said, Apple time. Now for the conclusion of the video. Should you buy the iMac 27-inch? No. Honestly, I say no, don't do it. Unless you are in desperate need for a new desktop computer, I say you just have to stick it out. Literally, those new computers are right around the corner. So you know the old saying, good things come to those who wait. So honestly, if you do not need this computer, if you're not in desperate need, if it's not your old iMac or laptop is broken, your old MacBook is broken, you do not need this thing. Just wait for it. I certainly am. So that's a wrap, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you can hit the other one, subscribe at the bottom, and comment down below. And this is William, and I'll see you in my next one. See ya.